Good afternoon, Stephanie. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, it's nice to meet you as well.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, for today's session, I was thinking I'll get to know you a little bit about you. We'll talk some more and figure out to see if this will be a good fit for you and I moving forward.
Okay, that sounds good.
Awesome. So, would you like to tell me a little bit about Stephanie?
Okay. Well, I'm 24 and I live at home with my mom. I work at AD for Life because I work and live in Dundas.
Okay.
I have a boyfriend who I've been with since May. I should know that. Yeah, we've been together since May,
Mhm.
and things have been going really well between us. And yeah, I've just been working. Like, I didn't go to college or anything
All
after
right.
high school, so yeah.
So you mentioned AD for life. What is that? I'm not familiar.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it's the it's a distributor for defibrillators. We sell
Oh,
and distribute defibrillators across Canada.
nice. Really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Very cool.
I get to talk to people kind of all over the country.
Right. So
Just
you
always
like it?
interesting. Yeah.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're happy there. And so you mentioned you have the boyfriend.
Mhm.
And you said that it sounds like it's going really well between the two of you.
Yeah, it is actually. I'm moving in with him. Well, him and his mom in April.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. That's a big change.
Yeah, I'm very excited, but also nervous. But
Sure.
I've never lived with a guy before, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be different, but a good different.
Definitely. Completely normal to have all of those feelings, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're excited for it because that's a huge new step in your life.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited, but I also have this like kind of the other side to it because like it has been just my mom and I my whole life. She's
Okay.
not taking it as well as
Okay.
most parents would.
Okay, so is she upset that you're leaving or wants you to stay or does she not like Andy or what's going on there?
And to be honest, I think it's like a mix of all that. Like she's not very happy that I'm leaving because I think she feels it's going to deteriorate our relationship. Um, I don't think she's really gotten close enough to Andy to um, get to know him to see if she does like him.
Okay.
Um, she's also kind of like a brick wall, though. Like, it's one of those things, like, a lot of people will meet her at first and she's not open to talking as much. She comes around slower to people.
Okay.
So,
And like you said, it's just been the two of you for 24 years.
yeah.
Right. So that's a long time, just the two of you.
Yeah, which I think is what's causing, like, the main issue is seeing that that's all changing. Like, it's not going to be just her and I anymore. It's going to be his family and, like, her. And, like, I think there's, like, a bit of jealousy in there with it.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're excited to move in with Andy. It's a big change, but you're kind of worried about the effect it will have on your mom.
Yeah. I mean, because, like, I moved out before and it financially screwed her up. So I had to move home because I felt guilty. Like, I wanted to help her. I didn't want to see it go badly. But now I'm kind of at that point in my life also where I'm like, well, I can't let her hold me back.
Right.
I'm going to be 25 in March. Like, I need to start doing things for myself and kind of being a little more selfish, I think.
Definitely. And for a 25-year-old, that's not out of the realm of possibility, right? That's great for you to be realizing that you need to take those steps. I can definitely tell why that would be frustrating, feeling as if you're leaving her behind.
Yeah.
Have you guys had any conversations about the fact that you're moving out or anything like that?
No. I mean, like, she knows that I'm moving out, obviously, but we haven't had a discussion about, like, how she's been acting and how it's been making me feel, because really it hurts knowing that, like, I don't have my mom's support with me when I wish I did.
So you mentioned that she sometimes is closed off in a bit of a brick wall. Do you think if you were to approach her in a comfortable setting, you guys would be able to have that sort of open conversation about how you're feeling?
Um, I think so, just because I mean, like I said, like with new people, she's not great with, but I mean, I'm definitely not new.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that having a conversation with her could probably go like one or two ways, but um, I think that should probably be our next step to have a conversation
Mm,
and so that she knows how I'm feeling as well.
for sure.
Because her actions obviously have repercussions on how I feel.
Definitely. Yeah, and you don't want to be, I can sense that you don't want to leave on a bad note, right?
No, because like it's not like I want to leave our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I want to still have a relationship with my mom. She's my mom.
She's your mother, of course.
So, I mean, like to her, like, and she said it before, we've gone into arguments where she said, "Oh, well, enjoy your new mother,"
Mm.
and that obviously referring to Andy's mom.
Okay.
Um, so like I can tell that there's like that bit of jealousy there on that part that I think she feels like somebody's coming in between what we've had for 24 years, but
Right.
um, I'm hoping that like having a conversation with her will open her eyes to, it's not that it's not just gonna it's yeah, she's right, like it's not gonna be just her and I anymore. It's going to be all of us, but that doesn't mean that it's going to lose anything that we have. And like to be honest, I'm hoping that the space between us, because I think the other issue is like we've been together for 24 years, like we
Right.
haven't had that distance,
Right.
and I'm hoping that helps too, because I always feel suffocated sometimes, like she's always home,
Right.
so like I always have her around, and it's kind of one of those things. I think that puts a damper on the relationship that we have too, because it's you just feel constantly suffocated. There's no other way for it.
Good. Okay. I can definitely sense how you're feeling about all of this. That's a lot to be carrying around with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, you mentioned that you think you'd be able to have a conversation with her about all of these feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say you were to have that conversation with her. What do you think would be the best case scenario of having that talk with your mom?
I think best case scenario that would come out of it would be she would understand where I'm coming from. Um, I'm hoping that she would kind of recognize where maybe she went wrong in everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know the one thing that I really I want to say to her, because it kind of seems like she's not understanding that like where I go in life reflects on how she parented me.
Right. Okay.
So I want her to see the good in me leaving, not just the bad.
Right. That
So like
she raised you to be this strong
yeah,
person. Right.
exactly. So I'm hoping best case scenario that's where she would see it, and it would go that way.
Okay.
So
And I hope that you guys are able to have that conversation and that it does result in that. But of course, we know that emotions do come into play and things don't always go as planned. What do you think would be the worst case scenario for you if you were to have that conversation with your mom?
Whew.
I know it's a tough one. It's hard to think of worst case scenario, but it might be good to prepare ourselves just so that we know going in that what we want and what we don't want out of the conversation.
Yeah. Wow, worst case scenario is kind of scary, but I guess it would be I could just see it turning into an argument of her still not seeing where I'm coming from. We have very similar tempers, so I think an argument would definitely be worst case scenario, because there's no communication at that point. It's just everyone for themselves kind of thing.
Everyone's in a high state of emotion and there's
exactly.
No right.
Yeah. Course. So I think, I mean, I see worst case scenario, like I said, an argument, her not seeing my side, and if anything, it would cause me to leave sooner than April, because right now April's a courtesy to her.
Right.
So that she can get all her ducks in a row before I leave. So if anything, like that argument would just lead to me leaving sooner, because I think I would reach my breaking point at that point of not feeling respect or support in any sort of way from her.
Or feeling heard, it sounds like. I feel like a lot of what I'm hearing is that you just don't feel fully understood
No,
and fully
exactly.
heard by her.
Yeah, and I don't, like I said too, like I don't feel supported from her. Like, you look at most people who their child's leaving the nest, and,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing what you're supposed to do in life. You're supposed to leave.
Of
And, like,
course.
most parents are there, like, do you need dishes? Do you need this? How about that? And, like, I'm getting the polar opposite of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, what about me? What am I going to do?
Right.
And so I think worst case scenario would just be more of that
Mm-hmm.
and less listening, more just all about her, not
Right.
even caring about how I feel in the situation.
And you feel as though that would just push you further away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Stephanie, I can tell you have thought a lot about this, which means it shows me that that's really important to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important to have that open conversation with your mom.
Yeah.
So I think for moving forward, maybe we've talked a lot about what you want to talk about with her.
Yeah.
But for next week, why don't you spend the next few days writing down some of these thoughts and some of the main things you'd like to talk about and express with your mom so that when we come back, you and I can talk about those and figure out how we can have that conversation with your mom
Okay.
so that we can have that best case scenario that you described.
Perfect. I like that. I think that would go really well to have like kind of like a rough draft and then talking with you about it, going
Right.
through it, and then that way I can say everything I want very clearly.
Right, because this is a
Yeah.
big change, right? We don't
Yeah.
want to take it so quickly. We want to take our time and make sure everyone is on the same page so that no one gets hurt and everyone is happy, right?
Exactly.
That's our main goal.
Yeah.
Of course, we want to make sure that Stephanie's happy, but also that your mom is okay too.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
So for next week, you can write down some of those things that you would like to talk about, and then when I see you again, we can go over some of those things and check in on how you're doing.
Perfect.
Awesome stuff. So it was great to talk to you today, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to next week.
Yeah, I can't wait till next week.
All right, I'll see you then.
Perfect. Thank
Bye.
you.